Simplifying complex fractions. Complex fractions because we have a set of fractions on top of the other set of fractions. This is going to be nice. So I made it darker right here so we know that this is going to be the denominator and this bunch is going to be the numerator. So least common denominator between 4 and 8, we have 8. And like we've done in the past, we drop the numerators down, we leave some room to put the answer of when you divide the least common denominator divided by the denominator. So 8 divided by 4, you put right there. 2. 8 divided by 8 is 1. You put it right there. We're going to do the same thing for the real denominator right there. So common denominator between 1 and 12 is 12. Bring the numerator down, leave some room. So we're still doing the same thing, but now it's a little more on steroids than it has been. 12 divided by 1 is 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1. Now we're going to distribute. 3 times 2 is 6, minus 1 times 1 is 1. Everything over my common denominator. 2 times 12, 24. 1 times 1, 1. I'm going to go right here in the next line. Combine. This is this line right there, this line, this line, this line. 6 minus 1 is 5 over 8. The denominator doesn't change. 24 plus 1 is 25. The denominator doesn't change. Didn't have to be that big. You know by definition, when you divide, that's what the fraction bar is doing here. When you divide, it's the same thing as if you were multiplying by the reciprocal. Reciprocal is when you switch the fraction upside down. So 5 over 8, 5 over 8 divided by 25 over 12. 5 over 8 divided by 25 over 12. Again, when you divide, you're multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to turn 25 over 12 upside down. So 12 over 25. Now you simplify that. I can simplify 5 and 25. I have 5 right there. I can simplify 8 and 12. I can divide them by 4. I get 2 right here, 3 right there. So you get 3 over 10. This is the main concept. Could you have put this in the calculator? Absolutely. But the question is, would you be able to do this without doing that? The answer is no. We did this one so you know the process. And we're going to do the same thing for number 2. Good thing that our numerator right here, you don't have to do all this, but we will for number 3. So this one is the main fraction bar right there. So 1 over x plus 2. We don't have to do anything with the numerator right here. And the numerator is x, 1 over x plus 2. Right here, we need to find the least common denominator between 1 and x. And it's x. Drop the numerators down. Leave some room. All right. X divided by 1 is x. X divided by x is not 0, it's 1. Now what we did next on number 1 is we multiplied. There's nothing we can do about the top, so you leave that alone. 6 times x, 6x. 4 times 1 is 4 over the denominator. And then I'm going to go right here. There's nothing I can do to combine or simplify, so I'm going to go ahead and do this step. When I'm dividing, this is the division sign. I need to multiply by the reciprocal, so that means I need to switch these guys upside down. So times, switch that upside down. There's nothing I can simplify here, so I'm going to do FOIL for the denominator right there. Multiply these two. 4 times x is 4x. 2 times 6x is 12x. Add them together. I have 16x. And then multiply the last two. 2 times 4 is 8. There's nothing I can do to simplify. That's all I can do. If you want to do FOIL here, go for it. If you want to do the box right here. But I think we've done enough of those that I can go from here to here. If you don't feel comfortable, go ahead and make your little box. This is the main fraction bar. I'm going to find the common denominator between x and 2x. So least common denominator will be 2x. My numerator is 1. Leave some room. 3. Leave some room. 2x divided by x is 2. 2x divided by 2x is 1. I'm going to finish this up just because I'm thinking about it, and I'm going to come back and do the denominator next. Multiply. 1 times 2 is 2. Plus 3 times 1 is 3. Everything over 2x. And then I'm going to have to go here in the next line. Common denominator between 3x and 4x, it's going to be 12x. Numerator. Again, 12x divided by 3x. I can simplify the x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 12x divided by 4x. Can simplify the x. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Multiply. Common denominator stays the same. 1 times 4, 4. 3 times 3, 9. So I'm going to combine next. I'm going to bring this fraction bar right there. I'm combining 2 plus 3 is 5 over 2x. Notice that the common denominator, once you found it, it doesn't change. Combine 4 plus 9, 13. Common denominator. Again, when you divide, it's the same thing as if you were multiplying by the reciprocal. So this one divided by this one. So I multiply, and then I switch these guys upside down. Now I have to simplify. I can simplify x with x. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And I can't simplify 13, so I just multiply across. 5 times 6 is 30 over 13. Last one. Common denominator between 1 and x minus 1. X minus 1. Bring the numerator down. Leave some room. Bring the numerator down. Leave some room. X minus 1 divided by 1 is x minus 1. X minus 1 divided by x minus 1, you get 1. I'm going to keep on simplifying, and then I'll go back and finish up the denominator. Distribute. Oh, everything is multiplied by 1. X minus 1 plus 1 times 1 is 1. Everything over x minus 1. I know you're tempted just to cross them out, but you can't do that. If you do that, you go back to the question. So now you combine. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So now you only have x over x minus 1. All of this just for the numerator. Now we're doing the denominator now. Common denominator between 1 and x squared minus 1. And I'm going to go ahead and factor this because I know we're going to be able to simplify some stuff. So common denominator, x plus 1, x minus 1. We've done so much of this that you guys should be able to do that. These guys divided by bring that down. This one is this one with some room for the leftover, plus 1 is this one with room for the leftover. X plus 1, x minus 1, divided by 1, x plus 1, x minus 1. X plus 1, x minus 1, divided by x plus 1, x minus 1. These guys simplify, I have 1. Now, I distribute. Right now, I'm just copying the least common denominator. Once I found it, it's not going to change anymore. So I'm going to do FOIL over here, or you can multiply mentally. Square the first, add those together, and square the last. Or you could have just easily identified those as difference of squares. So square the first, add them together, that is 0, and then square the last. 1 squared is 1, plus multiply that. 1 times 1 is 1. Simplify, or add, or combine, whatever you want to tell yourself. Now I'm going to go from here to the next line. This is the main fraction bar. Just to clean it up, x, x minus 1, and here I have x squared over x plus 1, x minus 1. When you divide, you multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to flip this thing upside down. Now I simplify what I can because I'm multiplying. Those two cancel out. X divided by x squared. You subtract the exponents. So that means I only have x left over in the bottom. So you have this one as part of your answer over x. right there.